to start off, who were for you some of the best and worst performers when it came to teams and players?
All right. So for me, the worst teams in the tournament, it's two. It's Turkey and Uruguay.
Yeah,
Turkey has been the dark horse since 2002, and you know, they get grouped
they
every
do.
time. And I want to root for Turkey. I like Turkey, but they, unlucky or whatever you want to call it, they got grouped.
Hmm.
Uruguay, they like to say they have 4 World Cups. We know they have two. But they didn't show up. Muslera was awful. My biggest disappointment from both teams, Arda Güler, he likes to say that
Yeah,
he likes to hang up a jersey every time he loses. That wall's gonna get filled up with a bunch of jerseys because he's been losing a lot lately. Fede Valverde was awful all year.
he was
I've been
bad.
saying he's overrated, and I'm waiting for someone to tell me I'm right because he got Xavi Alonso fired. He got in a fight with his own teammate in Madrid. He tried to get Bielsa fired, and he did not show up the whole World Cup. He
He
was
didn't.
a ghost. And the last person was Muslera. He should have stayed retired and he should have watched on the couch with us. Who
I
were
mean,
your disappointments?
well, I got to digest what you just said, but I totally agree about Muslera. That was horrible to see. I felt bad because he had like that 2010 World Cup where they made that deep run. He was incredible, and it's kind of sad to see now that he's kind of going down in terms of just not a great player when he did have such a solid
Yeah,
career
Father
for
Time's
Uruguay.
undefeated.
It is. Always, always. For mine, so in terms of the team, I was incredibly disappointed with Germany. They have so
Yeah.
much young talent, and going into it, I thought, okay, they could be really make a run and really push, some of these bigger teams to the brink in terms of this tournament. And they were a team again, and I saw this quite a lot of possession without actually doing anything. And
Yeah.
there's a big difference. There was no penetrating passes at times. The opportunities weren't there or the finishing was just not there. And so
Yeah.
that was really frustrating to see. And they got knocked out relatively early. So I had Germany. And then for my player was Vitinha. Vitinha having a really great season for PSG and them winning the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then watch again another player where if I don't have the statistic, but they were showing all of his passes, hardly any of them went forward.
No
They were
purpose to
all
his
side
passes.
side or back. So again, possession without purpose just to hold possession, and I know that he is more of a defensive player, but I think he has the quality as well to start making some of those line breaking passes, and he just didn't do that, and Portugal, again, lost relatively early as well, and so I would have to say Vitinha because I was just hoping and expecting for more.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
for you though, what are some of the surprises? What were some of the teams and players that are like, dang, I did not expect that from them?
I have two. My first one, it has to be Cabo Verde.
Yeah.
Vozinha went from who's this guy? I mean, he would walk down the street and you wouldn't recognize him to now he's a household figure.
Hmm.
I want Vozinha on my team every day on the week and twice on Sunday. So I
Yep.
mean, Cabo Verde, they return back to their home country as heroes. All of them, they're
They
gonna
did.
eat for free in every place that they walk in. And you might call me Homer Simpson with the next one, but Mexico had a great World Cup.
They
I
did.
I I believe the ECC. I fell for the hype. I booked a flight to Mexico City to go watch them play. I thought they were really good. They went 3 for 3. They put belt to ass to Ecuador, and they gave the best that they could to a really good England team. The best players from each team. I mean, I already mentioned Vocinha. Vocinha was really good, and then for Mexico, it has to be the one and only my guy,
Julian,
Julian Quinones. He was
if you
amazing. I mean,
if you are just listening, Oscar has a small sticker of Julian Quinones
that I
as a
keep in my
saint
wallet.
at all times. It is very important. So
Porque
I'm gonna clip it. It's gonna go onto Instagram so that everybody can see it, and it'll be on the YouTube as well once we post this. But he's, I mean, I gotta find me one of those.
I mean, if you ever need anything to go right in your life, if you need a promotion, a pay increase, if you're, down in the dirt with the ladies, if you got into some car trouble, light a candle and pray to San Julian Quinones, and good things are gonna happen. I saw the
He,
man give me 2 championships with Atlas when my uncles, the biggest Chivas fans, were saying my grandkids, kids were never gonna see a championship. And here comes my boy San Julian. He gave me 2 championships. And with Mexico, he made us believe. He
he
became
did.
instantly, with 4 goals this tournament and 1 assist, one of the top goal scorers in World Cup history for Mexico. He's one away from El Matador. So
His impact was, if he was not playing on the team, and that was a big hole on this
yeah.
Mexico side going into the tournament, and he really filled that void, and especially with the goals, which is what they really needed. So
Hey, he was really
um,
good. He
he
made
was
a believer
awesome.
from everyone that criticized him for being born in Colombia. I mean, the man, started playing professionally in Mexico in the second division. He
Hmm.
arrived at what, 16, 17 years old. He's only played for Mexico. He's said no to Colombia. His wife's Mexican, his daughter's Mexican. I mean, he's one of us. He's
He is.
Mexican. And he made a believer from, the most scraunchy anti Julian Quinones person in the world, to where
Hmm.
every single person in Mexico, in the US, was celebrating every single one of his goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody get your Julian Quinones jerseys before they get sold out, because Oscar might be buying all of them by
I
the
might, I might. I'm buying a high on Julian. You got a candle with his face on it, or a little picture for your wallet. I'm buying it.
for me, in terms of my biggest surprises, Congo, the Democratic Republic of
Oh
Congo.
yeah.
I thought they had a great tournament going into it. Oh, I wish I could remember his name. The fan that would just be standing there, so
Oh
iconic.
yeah. What's
He
his?
was.
Oh, he was.
I'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll have to show it later and look him up. But I think just the presence of Congo, them qualifying, how big that was for them, and having a great showing. They almost eliminated England,
Yeah.
and
They
they
were in
were
the
on
lead
the
until
brink
what,
of it.
minute 70 something, 80?
So
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome to see them. And I think it was really cool in terms of this expanded format with 48 teams compared to 32, that these teams that for many, they're like, oh, they're going to get, 6 or 7 goals scored on them, were able to really compete. And then my surprise player was Charles de Ketelaere from Belgium.
Who?
Charles de Ketelaere from Belgium. He was the tall, lanky striker who
Yeah.
plays for Atalanta, had 3 goals all season, and scores 3 in the World Cup. He
Crazy.
was an absolute stud for them. Physical, winning balls, hold up play. And I mean, he probably got most of his goals during against the US, unfortunately. But again, he made things really difficult against that Spain game too. He got that goal also. And so for me, he was a huge surprise because I'm like, oh, this guy didn't do anything. Why aren't they starting Lukaku? He's coming off the bench, but I think he really showed up. So that was my biggest surprise of the game, and just in terms of the whole tournament. So I think it was a really fun one in general.
Yeah, I have an honorable mention also. We talked about it earlier where it's a World Cup. You got to play until your body physically can't let you. And Christian Pulisic tapping out with a bone bruise. Bro, what are we doing? A bone bruise? Raul Jimenez took his headpiece off, his protective headgear, in the final 15 minutes of the game where he could literally die. He was
He
ready
could
to
have, yeah.
sacrifice his body in order to see Mexico win a game against England. And Christian Pulisic taps out with a bone bruise. And then after the game, he says, "Oh, I got hurt, but now I have time to rest." Yeah, bro, you got 4 years to rest now. Like, you didn't play the Gold Cup, and now you have 4 years to rest. Like,
I
Donovan would have played. Dempsey would have played. Like, what are we doing? A bone
there
bruise?
is there is a big argument happening on social media, especially after that game, specifically from US pundits, from past players about
Yeah.
just the PR and sort of how he comes across. It doesn't feel like he's that invested in the team, and maybe it's the pressure of it. Maybe that's just not his personality. But
Yeah.
he has become the face of U.S. soccer, and it is not a good
No, he
showing
hasn't
from.
risen up to the level of a representative of US soccer. I mean,
Yeah,
like, we're former players, current players, you know, in beer leagues. I'll play with the Bone Brews at the Hoover League right now, you know?
yeah,
Half of my cousins have, you know, knee problems. We call it the Perez curse. We still
it is a
play.
threat.
And with
Everybody has one ACL. They've lost one. I have one Achilles. It's all bad.
yeah, and you're telling me you can't play with the Bone Brews? What are we doing, Machi?
I don't know, but I think in this next World Cup cycle for the US specifically, and we can do a whole episode on this, I think there is gonna be a need in terms of the change of the guard
Yeah.
potentially, or just someone that's gonna step up and be that new face, because I think that really does affect the team's morale and how they're perceived.